I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration.
I would beat you.
When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties.
Are you ready?
That goes in the files.
Are you ready? Let's get it all!
Yo, 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 welcome back to the fifth round. As always, your boy, Stephen Moustaris. And guys, man, UFC 285 this weekend. You know, clearly, I'm always excited for fight weeks. Like, this is literally my Super Bowl. It almost feels like every weekend we almost get to get it. Like, clearly, I know the NFL has their games. The NBA's got their games. But, man, for us fight fans, you know, it's pretty much, we're blessed that every week's a fight week. And, you know, I'm always excited for him. But it just takes it to a whole nother level when it's one of your favorite fighters of all time. And, I mean, good God. I can go on for days and days and days talking about the Jon Jones. I can't wait to be telling my grandkids later on in life, you know, God willing, you know, just about all the great times that you remember just leading up. Like, it's almost going to be like our Mike Tyson stories or whatever. It's going to be, man, I'll always remember where I was when, you know, Jon Jones dethroned Shogun Rua, or when he beat the fuck out of Ryan Bader to get that fight, or all, you know, the way he did Matyushenko on the ground with the crucifix, and go on for days and days, and then keep going on to his title defenses against, you know, like I said, the domination of Shogun, the Rampage fight that I made my girlfriend skip prom for. My senior year of prom, I made her skip it so I can watch Rampage versus Jon Jones. Clearly, we're not together anymore. But Rashad Evans, all these fights that, I mean, you can even throw Vitor in there. You can throw all these damn guys, Gus, DC, every Tashira, you know, throw all these fights in there. And you know, it's memories for me that I'll always have. And, you know, I've never been that excited ever. Like, clearly, I get excited for my Max Holloway fights and whatnot, but, like, Jon Jones is, like, that first fighter I got to grow up with, like, for, like, seeing his first fight from the UFC all the way on. And clearly, like I said, Max Holloway turned into one of them guys, Conor, you know, clearly Dustin Poirier, the Diaz brothers. Like, you know, there's these guys that you just grow with. And then, clearly, nowadays, if you're a big fan, and you have been for so long, like, all these fighters you start growing with, and it just becomes a pattern. But you know, those guys that always will hold a little piece for you is, you know, them, like, the first people that are really killing it. And then, of course, the first person you really get to watch, you know, grow up in front of you. And, you know, it's the first Jon Jones fight. If I got to be honest, as much as I'm sucking his dick right here, that's the first Jon Jones fight I've actually been this excited for since, and I'm shocked I'm this excited for it, honestly. But the first one since December of 2018 when he beat Gus the second time. And you know, it's just because, I mean, we all know this with every one of our fighters, especially, and I mean, I couldn't even fathom how, you know, much pressure or whatever it would be, or how your mind would be as if you were one of those guys, one of the top fighters, let alone one of the #1 fighters of all time, like Jon Jones is. And I couldn't imagine how hard it would be to stay motivated, you know, when you've beat, like, all the guys I just named, and even more so, like, he's beat that many people, and then, like, then you're motivated, oh, I got to fight Anthony Smith next weekend, who doesn't seem to be able to win more than 2 or 3 in a row in the UFC, which, no offense, but it's like, compared to a Jon Jones and all the guys that we've talked about that he beat, like, that's nothing. You know, even a Thiago Santos, even though it was a great fight for Thiago, it's like, still, it's like, man, we've seen him lose at 185. You know, Dominic Reyes, cool, finally we get somebody who's undefeated, but still, it's like, I don't know, it's just like, I just feel like it wasn't that motivating for Jon Jones. Like, it's not these guys, but then, of course, when you see him motivated, like I said, against Gus or DC or all these other guys, man, it's the best performances ever. So, you know, I am sitting here 2023. We're sitting here like, it's been 3 years now. How the fuck is Jon Jones going to look? You know, we were worried back then when he was getting in trouble and he'd come back and he'd knock out DC. And I know it's overturned now to a no decision, or no contest, whatever. But, like, still, it's, you know, you get these motivated and you get him to come back. And it's like Dominic Reyes, or not Dominic Reyes, that's hilarious, but Dominic Cruz when he comes back. And he's like, you know, I don't believe in ring rust. And he looks great when he comes back after however many years with his however many ACL tears. And, you know, these top dogs, I think, can do it. But I don't know how many times you can do that continuously in your career. Like, Jon Jones has already done it twice now, where he's come back after a long time. First time he came back looking amazing against Gus or DC and all these guys. Second time, starts looking a little washed up a little bit. And I don't want to say washed because he's still putting on great performances. It's just the domination that we're used to. It's not the same. And then now here we go. It should have been Francis. It should have been Stipe. And here we go now. It's a Ciryl Gane. And I think, you know, clearly I'm going to be a Jon Jones lover here. And hopefully, you know, he was probably like, okay, it didn't matter who I'm going to fight. It's the fact that I'm stepping up into a heavyweight division. It's the fact that I'm coming back after so long. It's the fact all these things, like literally everything. And it's he had a huge fight inducted in the Hall of Fame. He's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame clearly. You know, it seems like he's changing his life around. So that alone should be enough to motivate him, and that's why I think I'm so excited this week, is because I think we're getting a motivated Jon Jones. And when I've seen motivated Jon Jones, it's some of the nastiest, you know, clips you'll ever see or fights you'll ever go watch ever, or if you watch them live, if you're lucky enough to, like, boy, just something different. Like when you saw Michael Jordan cooking, when you see LeBron cooking, when you see, you know, all these great guys, all these athletes that we can speak of, Tom Brady cooking, you know, and that Super Bowl comeback, like, to be like prime, you know, like the LeBron 3-1 comeback, you know, the Jordan just taking over always in game sixes, you know, Kobe's comebacks that he has, you know, you see these athletes, these star athletes have their moments, and Jon Jones has had so many in front of our eyes. And I know, like, even for me, man, it's crazy to think that 2018 was 5 years ago. I'm sitting here thinking Gustafsson and Jon Jones just a couple years ago, 3 years ago, maybe max. So it's like, no, it's been 5. And then it's like, dude, it's been 6 since he's knocked out DC. So that is the worry. And, you know, to focus a little bit more on Ciryl Gane, you know, that's the only thing that, like, I want to sit here. I really want to sit here and name this title, all this for this video, and be like, is this the most technical fight that Jon Jones has ever had? Like, oh my gosh. But, like, to be fair, you know, I'm not saying, we've seen Jon Jones struggle to get people down, especially Dominic, definitely Thiago, definitely all the, you know, definitely not Anthony Smith, kind of dominated, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you know, he hasn't been the best recently. Like, I think I saw a stat, his first, Jon Jones up till 2018, I think his takedown offensive rate was, or success rate was, I think, like 83% or something, and ever since then, it's like at like 50 or something, really low. So I know it doesn't look the greatest, and I know we could easily be sitting here Saturday night like, oh man, Jon Jones just doesn't look good and he didn't get him down. But, like, to be fair, if he can get him down, like, that's one thing that Ciryl Gane is really missing. And if Francis Ngannou can do it to him, like, imagine what Jon Jones can do. So, like, the whole grappling aspect, and he could come out and shock us, but I'm just saying the whole grappling aspect is the only thing stopping me from saying, like, man, this is the most technical fight of all time. Like, holy shit, we need to be watching this. But when it comes to stand-up, it's definitely close. And I know Jon Jones just tweeted. He's been on a tweeting rampage like Jon Jones does on Fight Week, kind of talking about his opponent. It's probably something he does to get in his head. You know, gamesmanship and shit. But, you know, you're sitting there saying, like, I can't believe all these people are saying this might be the most technical fight ever. Like, do you know Ciryl Gane, like, isn't Thiago Santos? Like, I went back and watched that fight, and, you know, it's like, it's crazy how good he is. He's technical as hell. And it's like, you know, I see what you're saying. But I do, man, this is the worry with it. Ciryl Gane, just the way he looks so light on his feet, and if we are being fair to ourselves here, unless Jon Jones comes out and just absolutely just looks like a brand new fighter, like in a bad way, there's no way we're going to see Jon Jones just stand there like Derek Lewis or Tai Tuivasa, or, even a little bit of Francis, because I know he had that knee or whatever, but Francis was doing decent, but he got hit a lot. But I'm just saying, like, Jon Jones doesn't just sit there like that, and I'd like to think that it's going to be a lot more like what the movement Ciryl Gane does. Like, honestly, I feel like Ciryl Gane stole a lot of what Jon Jones does. It's almost like if we could have got Kobe versus Jordan for a title, and it was old Jordan, kind of like the age that Jon Jones would be, and then you got a young Kobe coming up. Like, that's kind of what this would be like. And honestly, like, I'm not saying that Ciryl Gane's going to be the greatest of all time or anything, and it definitely hurts that he lost to Francis, but, you know, if he would have beat Francis and that fight gets a little, if he would have laid on top of him in that 5th round instead of going for a heel lock or a heel hook or leg lock, whatever he was going for, you never know what the hell he's doing, but whatever the fuck he was trying to do, it didn't work on him, and then he gets, you know, completely dominated for the 5th round. So say that's vice versa. You could say here and be like, Ciryl Gane beats Jon Jones, could be one of, but it's just tough at 11-1. So I don't know. Something's telling me that we're going to see a great Jon Jones this weekend. You know, clearly I could be sitting here as well. Like, this could be one of those moments. It always catches up to every fighter ever. This is why we love this sport. This isn't, you know, it's why we love all sports, to be honest. Like, it's rare that we get to see, like, unless you're Habib and willing to leave in your prime, like, we don't get to see the Cinderella ending all the time. So I'm not saying this is the end for him. I'm just saying, like, there's always a time that it starts coming crashing down a little bit, like Anderson Silva against Weidman. And I can go on for days about that. Chuck Liddell starting to get his whole knockout streak. Like, you know, it starts to happen, and especially the older you get, the more successful you get. So, like, this could be that weekend that we're sitting here like, oh, Jon Jones finally got caught. And luckily for him, he does have those built-in excuses. Oh, I haven't fought for 3 years. Oh, I'm rusty. Oh, it's my first time at heavyweight. Oh, all this. So, you know, I'm ready for the excuses, and in all honesty, if you're Jon Jones, this is probably a decent weekend if you were going to lose. I hate to say this like that because that's pussy mindset, and Jon Jones would never think that way. But I'm just saying for Monday morning, quarterback or Sunday morning armchair that we're doing after this weekend, after UFC 285, it's going to be one of them ones. It's like, yeah, is it that bad of a loss? Like, we knew what he already did. Like, he's already set in stone as one of the greatest of all time, especially in his light heavyweight run. Like, it's been 3 years. His head's not in it. Like, all that shit. So who fucking knows? But I'm fucking mad excited, and I'll probably be doing a bunch of videos. And honestly, as crazy it is, I didn't even get into it yet, but Alexa Grasso is my lady, and I've been a fan of her forever, and I just was hoping that she would have never had the chance to fight Valentina, and then just wait till Valentina decides to move on with her life, and then Alexa comes in. But, man, I'm sitting here close. It's a toss-up for me here because I love Valentina and I love Alexa, so that's going to be a tough one, and I'll definitely be talking about it. And this whole fight card's just fucking amazing. Bo Nickel, all this shit. So, absolutely hyped for UFC 285. We're just starting it off for just the hell of it. So, let's go, baby. 5th round, Stephen Moustaris, UFC 285. Let's go.